So really, I love a garage project. People are usually surprised when I say that because it's not like sexy, glamorous organization project all the time, but it is like the workhorse of a house because it's also the place that you come in and out of most every single day. You see it every single day. So if it's messy, then it just makes you feel blah when you walk. You come into the house and you come home to like a pile of stuff and you're like, can't even pull your car in, or you can, but you're like tripping over everything trying to get to the door. So I really love a garage project because it makes a huge difference.
Hi there. Welcome to the Connecting KC podcast. I'm Rachel Kilmer, also known as Rach the Realtor on the internet, where I love, connecting all things KC. I'm a metro area real estate agent, retired sports reporter, and mom, and probably too old to call myself a TikToker, but honestly, that's how we got here. You can learn more at www.rachtherealtorkc.com. But this show is all about introducing you to all of the movers and shakers, interesting people, heartfelt stories, and funny quirks that make this vibrant community home. So let's get right to it with today's episode of Connecting KC. Today's guest is a woman that has a talent many of us are envious of. It is Krista Williams. She is the founder of Neatly Done, a company that was founded from a place of desire to own her own business and a passion for giving families the same joy she's discovered from, that's right, a simplified and organized home. As her life got busier with roles as a mom and wife, she felt herself naturally leaning into organization. It brought sanity into her life and gave her family a place to escape at the end of a long day. An organized home is life-giving and transforming. And so, Neatly Done began from that longing to give you and yours what her family could no longer live without: efficient and effortless spaces. Outside of her business, Krista loves recharging with her husband and 2 daughters. Their favorite activities include movie nights, cheering on the Chiefs and the Royals, and playing outside. You can probably find her whipping up a new recipe with her girls, reading a new book, or planning their next adventure. But for now, you find her here on Connecting Kansas City. Krista, thank you for being here today.
Sure. Thanks for having me. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I love it. So tell me the story. How did Neatly Done begin? What was the founding process like? When was it? All of that good stuff.
So actually, this is one time that we're doing this. Neatly Done started 5 years ago. In October, I actually applied for the LLC for the business. So it's been 5 years this month that Neatly Done has been in existence. So
anniversary.
I worked in corporate America for a long time, almost 20 years before I started this business. And we just needed up the crazy train in my life, to be honest. My husband was working full-time and traveling like 2 or 3 days a week. So I was home with the kids for a couple of years. And then my youngest went to kindergarten and I was like, okay, what am I going to do? I wanted to work and I thought maybe I'll try to own my own business. So I had like 3 different business ideas and this is the one that gave me the most energy and I thought there was a need in the market. So I started the business about 5 years ago and just was really like, as a mom, like you said, organizing, I was like, either my house is going to be organized or I'm going to lose my mind. So I was like, it's going to be organized. So I'm just going to lean into that. So I really leaned into that. And when I was thinking about, okay, what do I want to do? I was like, maybe I could do this for other people. Maybe this could be a business. And that's how it was born, to be completely honest. It was just doing what I love and have a natural passion for. And sometimes you think like, oh, everyone can do this. But as the more and more that we've done it, I'm just like, organizing is a skill that some people have an inclination towards and some people do not. And I have a strong inclination for it. So it's been fun. It's been a real ride. So I started 5 years ago by myself. I did everything on my own. And now we have a team of people and it's great. So in a nutshell, that's Neatly Done.
Yeah, you have quite the team too. There's a lot of people, it looks like, on staff. Do you have an office or does everyone kind of work remote and you're all running to and there? What's the workflow like for your team?
Good question. So we have an office that really isn't client facing because most of our clients, actually none of our clients really need to come into our office because we are going to their houses. But our office does serve as kind of a warehouse point where we have a lot of organizing supplies that we stock and keep. We started that during COVID when supply chain was really unreliable. But then we realized that it's really nice to have things on hand so that if things are out of stock or we need something last minute, we do not have to like wait for retail for it to come in or be shipped or be in stock in a store. So we have we have an office space in Overland Park, in Northern Overland Park. Our inventory manager works out of there, and I'm probably there 1 or 2 days a week. And then everyone else either works remotely or is on site at client houses. So a little bit of everything.
So are you still hands-on organizing, or has your role shifted more into like management?
Correct. So I'm still involved with every project, and the way that our process works is that we go and we meet in your home, in your office, if it's a corporate client, and we are talking about the project, and we are walking through the project and deciding like what is the scope and what needs to be done and all the assessment things. So I'm in the upfront assessment phase of the project still, and making sure that the plan comes together, and then I hand off the execution of the plan and the organizing to my team.
That makes sense. Who is your average client? What kind of person or business typically reaches out to you guys?
Good question. We have a couple of different, I would say, primary clients to reach out. The first is usually moms, busy families who cannot just do all the things. Kids are at home or at school, and just so many competing demands. A lot of times we have people that are either stay-at-home moms that just have so many other priorities, or it's double dual income and dual working outside of the home. And there's just literally not enough time. So a lot of people are time pressed that reach out to us. And that can come in various stages of life, right? It can be like you have a new baby and you're like all your time is on that. It can be you've got kids in school, but you've got volunteer and you're involved helping with ailing parents, or you just have other priorities. Or it can be empty nesters, but you're both still working and you just don't have time. So it's a lot of time restraints, people that reach out to us that need help. And then we also help a fair amount of people too that have relocated. So they either moved into their new home, they've renovated their new home, or there's some sort of moving component. They're downsizing something and they want us to help them settle back into their new home, help them decide where everything goes, and then set up organizing systems to they can maintain.
And what about offices? What do you do for businesses?
Yeah. So offices, we usually one of two things. Usually there's some sort of a supply room that needs to be organized. So we do a lot of those. Sometimes we'll do individual desks and filing systems for people as well. So it kind of just depends on what the office needs. And the last thing is a lot of times we'll organize break rooms. So coffee stations, drinks, paper goods, all the things that are in an office.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Do you have like a personal favorite kind of organization project that like when you see it come through, you're like, yes, this is the one I love to do?
Yeah. So really, I love a garage project. People are usually surprised when I say that because it's not like sexy, glamorous organization project all the time, but it is like the workhorse of a house, because it's also the place that you come in and out of most every single day. You see it every single day. So if it's messy, then it just makes you feel blah when you walk. You come into the house and you come home to like a pile of stuff and you're like, can't even pull your car in, or you can, but you're like tripping over everything trying to get to the door. So I really love a garage project because it makes a huge difference in the daily life of anyone, a family, empty nesters, just anyone, just having things straight and organized. I love that. And then my other second favorite is probably just a kitchen. Again, a kitchen is a workhorse of a household. And when it's efficient, everything has a place and everyone knows where things go. It's dreamy. So I love kitchens and I love garage.
Love it. I can feel my very messy garage like burning a hole in the back of my shoulder right now. Like, don't look, don't pay attention.
It's very normal to have a messy garage. And it's very normal for it to be overwhelming because it's a place where a lot of things are stored, and it just feels overwhelming because it's like a lot of things to touch and handle and manage and try to figure out where they go. So it's a big giant puzzle to solve, which I am all about.
Yeah. Well, your timing of launching your company is so good because it kind of coincided with the Marie Kondo stuff, the home edit. And yes. I'll never forget the episode of the home edit where they did one of the I think Khloe Kardashian's garage. And it was like, yes. Did you know what I'm talking about? It was like the most beautiful garage I've ever seen.
Yes. With tape on pink tape on the floor. I love it.
Yeah. So good. Is there like a celebrity organizer that's like your favorite?
I really do like the home edit I probably resonate with them more than Marie Kondo. And I love the home edit because of what they've done for our industry. They have really provided a lot of PR. People, I think, didn't really realize that organizing was even a thing and that organizing could mean more than just like decluttering and throwing away things. That's just a phase of organizing. It's just one step of the organizing process. They really have illustrated and made popular the idea of taking the exterior, your not your exterior, your interior design and the interior design of your space and bringing that through into your storage spaces and making everything in your house cohesive, functional, and really pretty at the same time. So marrying those two things. So I like them for that. Some of their like rainbow organization, I think, is purely for marketing and purely for fun, and it's aspirational. It's not realistic, but I think if you can get over that and you kind of know that that's what that's for, then a lot of the principles are really great and really admirable, and so thankful for them. So that's probably my fave.
Yeah, love it. I guess, could you put a percentage on like what percentage of clients are able to actually maintain what you guys do for them? Or is a lot of times they call you a year later and they're like, help, it's worse than it was before. Like, how does that work usually?
Yeah, I would say probably, I don't have a percentage, but I would, if I had to guess on a percentage, I would say probably 95% of our clients are able to maintain systems. We just had a client who we moved, and they moved in May of this year, and we kind of we moved them in and organized pretty much their entire house. And she just sent me a message 2 weeks ago, and she was like, I cannot thank you enough. She was like, we love everything you did. And she goes, the thing I love the most is that everything is very intuitive and nothing is difficult to maintain. So that's what we're all about. We're all about trying to identify your personal habits and leaning into those things and making systems to come around those instead of forcing you into something that you would never do or maintain, and trying to make you like go to a completely different system. An example would be, we just had a client who we were talking about. She was like, my kids throw their papers on the kitchen table every day after school, and it's a hot mess, and I never know whose is what. They have like 3 kids, and so she's like, it's just like a giant mess. And she was like, I think we should get like a filing cabinet, and like we should put in that filing cabinet. And I was like, I really wouldn't steer you towards that, because you're asking your kids and you to change your behavior a lot. You're asking them to all of a sudden maintain this filing system and a filing cabinet you don't even have. So instead, we actually put 3 different magazine files, clear magazine files, on the counter in her kitchen, and put each kid's name on them so that they could put their papers in that file on the kitchen counter, which is already where they're used to going and putting the papers, but it's just one step of like just putting it in where their name is. And then we also carved out a space in her kitchen cabinets so that when people came over, she could tuck those things up and away so they didn't have to be out all the time, because that was her thing. She's like, I don't want it to be out yet. But so that's an example of just really, we are trying to learn, how does your household operate and where are the problems, and how can we come along and provide a solution that's intuitive and easy for your family to maintain, and isn't going to be like, habits. Everyone tells you a habit is a hard thing to develop. And if you're trying to like go from A to Z, it's much easier if you just go from like A to C first and then go from C to F, So that's what we're trying to do.
Sure. What room do you think that people struggle with the most? What's the room that you get the desperation phone calls like, help, I can't live with like this anymore?
That's a good question. We get a lot of the desperation phone calls about a storage room and a garage. And those are because those are usually, like I just kind of talked about before, they're spaces that tend to accumulate a lot of things and quickly become very overwhelming for you to tackle on your own because of just the sheer volume. And there's also usually a lot of mementos and like other things that are like more than just a physical thing. It's like an emotional thing that you have to process through as well. So those are the places where people tend to feel pretty overwhelmed. But honestly, it's really like every person is so different. Like sometimes we get the phone call and it's about their primary closet. And they're like, I shop and I have all this stuff and I need a system. So, but it tends to be garages and storage rooms because of just the sheer volume of things are the kind of panic. Oh my gosh. Like I tell people all the time, I personally organized my own storage room like 3 or 4 years ago. And I had to literally like forbid my family from going in the basement for 3 or 4 weeks because I had everything pulled out. It just took me forever to do it by myself. So I was like, you can't play down here, kids. No one can come down here. It's off limits.
Yeah. Yeah. I, that makes sense for sure. So, kind of shifting back to the business, what has the growth process been like for you? Like, have you found it difficult to find people to hire? Because it's a very specific skill set. Kind of, what's that process been like for you?
It's a very specific skill set. Yes. And, honestly, when I started the business, I don't think I had the intention or that I knew that it was going to grow so quickly and so rapidly. Um, so I didn't really think about all those things. So it's just been kind of things I've managed on the fly. Luckily, though, my background in the corporate world and I managed teams in the corporate world. So I had some of that knowledge and how to. But yeah, it's a very specific skill. Most everyone in our team starts as an organizer and learns how to organize and learns the business and then is promoted from within, is how we handle things, because we have a way of doing things, and the organizing industry and market in general is just very new, and every organizing company really operates very differently. They have some organizing companies just focus on decluttering. Some really just focus on pretty pantries and systems. And so it just really depends on how the company operates and the process. So yeah, we have everyone starts as an organizer, and then we've just promoted from within to help with project management, inventory management, things like that. Once people understand how we work, our systems, all those fun things.
Mm-hmm. What you've mentioned your corporate background a couple of times. How does your like previous life, your previous career help you in this role? And is there anything like you took from that you're like, okay, I have to crumble that in a ball and throw it away? It doesn't apply to running my own startup.
Yeah, that's a great question. It's a really good question. So I would say the things that have helped me the most is the corporate world. For the most part, you step into a corporate job and the roles are defined and the systems are really clearly defined, and you're really just either coming along and you're getting on the bus and rolling with the systems in place, or you're tweaking them. So it really made me realize and quickly identify that our company needed some same systems and processes and procedures in place so that we could scale. Because, everything was in my head and I did everything by myself for the first year. And then when I hired people, I was like, okay, well, I need for them to be able to do what I do. So that was really helpful, just having that knowledge and knowing that needed to be done and having examples of how to do that. Plus, I learned a lot of skills and, just general software management, Excel, basic skills like that. So I would say that's been the most helpful. And also in the corporate world, you have to learn to be an excellent communicator, a clear communicator. So I had all those things were helpful. I'd run teams before, had some feedback about my personal management style and how that could be improved. So that was helpful. But the thing I would say that I've had to kind of throw out the window, though, is owning a small business is so much different than working in a corporation, in the fact of just people management. And, you're responsible for the people that are working for you, and just being able to pivot with that and learn how to communicate with them. And it's just a lot more intimate setting, obviously, than a corporation. So that's been really different. And I've had to pivot and iterate on that for sure.
What is the most common misconception that like the public has about the organization industry or what you guys do? What do you hear a lot from people who be like, that's not right. That's not what we do.
Well, good question. So first of all, I think some people think that organizers just help you throw away your stuff and they make you throw away your stuff. And we're like, you have to get rid of things. That is a very big misconception. I always tell people, we are not here to force you to throw away anything or to get rid of anything. But I always do encourage people. I'm like, purging is a part of the natural process of organizing. And some of our clients feel very comfortable doing that part on their own. And I'll say, great, do that part on your own and save the time and money. And our team, we don't have to do that. Then other people want support to that because it's emotional and it's overwhelming to them. And also we can just make it a quicker process. But I would say that's a really big misconception, is a lot of people think that you have to throw away things and that we're going to make you throw away things. But I always say there are different people in this world. Some people are minimalist. Some people are maximalist. We are here for all of them. We're here to support your life and to make it much less chaotic and much easier to manage just your everyday, day-to-day life, no matter where you fall in that range. So I would say that's a really big misconception about organizers.
Yeah, absolutely. Where do you see the future of your company going? Are you guys wanting to continue to grow, go to different markets? Or are you really happy with where you're at?
Good question. I would say for now, KC is where we're at. We love it. It's been great. We love serving the people here. I love the city. I'm from here. Love it. So we don't have really any plans to expand or grow beyond Kansas City. What we've really seen a lot of growth is recently is just helping with relocations and people moving in and getting settled. I don't think people think about an organizer whenever they're moving. They don't think, oh gosh, like that person could come in my house and unpack my 250 boxes and figure out where everything goes and get rid of the trash and set up systems and just get me like settled within a matter of 2 days versus like some people it's 2 months, 2 years before they unpack all their boxes. And our team has a lot of energy around it, and it's a really fun project, and our clients love it. Anyone who has hired us to do that has loved it. So I would see that's the growth, the future of our business is just helping people with relocations, and then also just continuing to help people organize their spaces. We have started offering a membership, an organizing membership. We started it about 1.5 years ago. And it's been really popular. We haven't talked about it a lot, primarily because I wanted to just see how it went and kind of, iterate, figure out what worked, what didn't work, and then maybe roll it out a little bit bigger. And to be completely candid, I'm like, it's just about capacity for our team. But I will say that as organizing gains momentum in the country, and people know about it more, I think one of the biggest barriers too is just the investment, because it's not an inexpensive service, right? It's not. Hiring any organizer, not just Neatly Done, any organizer, it's not an inexpensive service. But I think that if most people knew that they could phase out the investment over a year to tackle a certain number of projects that they determine, then I think that's a much more manageable way to manage it. It's almost like hiring a house cleaner or any other service that you have for your home. If you know that it's kind of an unexpected expense, then it's an easier way to manage it. So that's one thing we're going to be leaning into more too, is our ownerships and talking about them more and just educating people so that they understand what they are.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm a real estate agent by day, and we work with my team in particular, works with a lot of seniors moving into senior living communities, and there's some great companies that specialize in that, and they unpack them and organize them. But I think like the average person that's not making that move doesn't think about like those seniors when they walk in and they're like, oh, here's my organized silverware drawer. Oh, there's my linens. Like they like cry. Like, and I'm like, think about what that would mean to like the busy dual income family that, neither one has time off work to move or whatever. So yeah, that's a really powerful tool, I think.
Yeah, completely. Sure. It's just such a gift to be able to walk into a space and everything just be set up, especially whenever you either know or you're a realtor, when people move in, it is so chaotic. It is so chaotic. There are boxes everywhere. If they have kids, there's kids running around and they feel unsettled and they're working. It's so chaotic. And if you can really like short cycle that amount of chaos that you feel, it's such a wonderful thing. So yeah, it's really great.
Love that. Love that. Okay. Last 2 questions I ask everyone that comes on the show. First one is, what is a great meal that you've had out to eat in Kansas City recently?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Rachel, I have kids and we just don't go out to eat that often.
You're like, well, the chicken strips at the Chili's down the street are phenomenal.
It's great. I don't know if I had to say the most recent place we've been that it just came to mind was Meat Mitch Barbecue. We live really nearby. And we are big barbecue fans, and we love Meat Mitch. So, props to Meat Mitch. Their pulled pork is really good, but surprisingly, I had their brisket. The last time we were there, was it brisket? Yeah, I had brisket and burn ends, and the brisket was so good. I feel like that's really hard. A lot of times it gets dried out. Theirs is highly delicious. Really recommend it. Yeah,
yum. Yeah, I've been there too. It's great, and they have a location in the airport too. So always
they do.
Yeah. Yeah, right. That's the first thing you'll smell when you walk in.
Love it.
Yeah, last question for you is, where can people find you? Where can they find you on social media, Neatly Done, the website, all that good stuff?
Yeah, so our website is neatlydonekc.com, and we're on Instagram at neatlydonekc. Just KC, not spelled out. Neatly Done KC. So come find us there. In our stories, we usually are talking about what we're doing for the day, sharing progress on, before and afters. So lots of fun. Just come follow us.
Love it so much. All right. Well, Krista, thank you so much for being here today. Really appreciate you taking the time, and looking forward to watching you guys continue to grow and thrive.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks. All right, guys. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.